What is your American dream?
My family is from Ecuador and I am from Chicago. My American dream is to be able to pay back my parents for everything they did for me.
Rick, I'm from France and my American dream is to help every day the homeless. Merci à vous.
I am from Tunisia. My American dream is to see love and peace.
I was born in North Carolina, Rocky Mountain. My dream is to have peace, and that's it.
My parents are Guyanese, so I'm first generation American. My American dream is that we all get the same treatment, same laws, same education as everyone. That will be my American dream.
Everyone has a right to the American dream.
Hello. How are you guys today? Did you have a nice weekend? I did, but it was crazy. First, I drank way too much Manischewitz at the Seder with bread. And then I ate way too much candy on Sunday for Easter. Ended up in a sugar coma. It's been a rough weekend. I'm still sleeping it off. But I have a duty to attend to. What happened on Thursday's episode of Bradshaw Live? Well, we spoke to documentarian Victorious DaCosta about his family's immigration story and the documentary that he's working on about legendary jazz musician Weldon Irving. The film is called Digging for Weldon Irving. It's going to be incredible. And Jake Hudnut talked to us about character witnesses as it relates to Bill Cosby's retrial happening right now in Pennsylvania. What's on today's show? Well, I'm gonna wake up and watch, and so should you. Check it out.
Welcome everybody, it is April 2nd on a Monday, and we got a big show ahead of you. And hello to everybody, hope everyone had a great Easter, Passover, whatever you were celebrating. Vita Taken, Lisa Bling Rose, hello, hello. Who else is saying hello to us on a Monday morning here? Snowy spring in April in New York. I'm sure Donald Trump's going to tweet at some point, snow in New York, so much for global warming. But we're not going to get into that. Christy Kinsale, hello. And I said Lisa Bling Rose. And Karkush Burke. It's a new one I have not seen in a while. Tamara Boni. I'm a survivor. Joining us from Arizona. I haven't seen her in a long time. I'm a survivor. Demoya Harrison, Jeff Bosey, Christy Kinsale. On both feeds all the time, guys. On both feeds. She's a true supporter. Patrona Collins, Monica Stone, Sunita, hello, how are you? Marsha Whitaker, Barbara Lord, who else is here? Jella Shauna. If I pass you over, I'm just doing this very fast here. Dionne Watson. Hello, Kirk Brown and Malaya Loban Martin, Tamika Nelson, Jella Shauna, Rita Ritt. Rita Ritt. Have you spoken to Rita Ritt before?
We have spoken to Rita Ritt.
Oh, my thing's falling out of my ear here.
That's not
too
good.
early to have my thing fall out.
I was going to say, it's only 5:38.
Carlette Harrison, Dionne Watson. I said hello to her twice already. All right, it's enough hellos. So hello, everybody. And, of course, hello, Belgium King, Kim.
Hello.
And Jonathan.
I'm here.
Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Yes,
we can't sing the real thing.
We can't sing the real thing because Mark Zuckerberg will cut us off. But happy birthday, Jonathan!
Thank you so much.
You are now legal to drink.
I am.
All right.
Wow.
And guess what? You were legal. You were legal to drink yesterday as well. All right. So what's going on in the news here? There was some sad news out of South Africa. Winnie Mandela. She was married to Nelson Mandela, obviously, the anti-apartheid campaigner, and wife of and also she was her own anti-apartheid campaigner. She was died at the age of 81. There she is. In a statement, Victor Delamini, if I'm pronouncing his name right, he's the Mandela family spokesperson, called her one of the greatest icons of the struggle against apartheid.
Wow. And
that she sacrificed her life for the freedom of her country, which is very, very true. I was, the story of what. Let me ask you a question, okay? Because I'm not as well versed in the life of Winnie, and I know she had some issues as well through her life. But Nelson Mandela, why? And I'm putting you on the spot, both of you.
Yeah.
Because I think he of any leader in the last 100 years was probably the greatest leader.
Right.
I think in the last 100 years. And let me ask you a question. Why? Maybe you're wrong. Do you agree or disagree? And if you think he was a great leader or the greatest leader, I'll tell you why I think he was.
You want me to take this one first? Why are you looking at me?
Now, and I put you on the spot. And I put you on the spot because you may not know enough about him.
I was gonna say, from the very limited, like, school general, what they teach you, knowledge that I have, and just a teeny bit more, I think I would agree with you. I think he would be one of, I don't know that I would say the greatest leader. Again, that's my own ignorance. But I think that he's definitely one of the greatest leaders that we've ever had, particularly for the fact that not many leaders put their money where their mouth is, and he did.
All right, so Winnie Mandela, this is according to her spokesperson, says her activism and resistance to apartheid landed her in jail on numerous occasions, eventually causing her banishment to the small town of Brantford in the then Orange Free State. She kept the memory of her imprisoned husband Nelson Mandela alive during his years on Robben Island and helped give the struggle for justice in South Africa one of its most recognizable faces. She dedicated most of her adult life to the cause of the people, and for this she was known far and wide as the mother of the nation.
Yes.
Okay, so she and Nelson really kept up the struggle even when he was in jail for, I believe, 27 years, and 17 of it, or 18 of it, was on Robben Island, which is right off of, in the bay in Cape Town. It's like Alcatraz in San Francisco, if anybody's been to Alcatraz.
Yes.
By the way, that picture I took myself on my trip to Robben Island from the boat. That was right out of my iPhone.
Oh, wow.
Now, Jonathan.
Yes.
You are actually descendants of Africans, not from South Africa.
No.
Are you more from...
Actually, I just found out.
You are from South Africa.
The DNA, so we found out that we were 37% South African.
Wow, that's a lot.
Had no idea.
I just met with a friend who did the DNA thing and found out he was 20% Liberian.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Like, those
and he
are
no
huge
idea.
percentages.
No idea.
That's a huge
No idea.
percentage,
Right.
Right, no
My
idea.
mom is 50% Middle Eastern. That's what we found out.
I found out I was
Crazy.
2% Yakin.
I do remember that. I do.
See, like, yours is the least surprising.
So anyway, let's go back to Nelson Mandela and Winnie, who was literally by his side the entire time.
Right.
Are you more familiar or no?
I'm not too familiar, but what I did want to say was anybody that goes to jail for your people and you know you're still making power moves while you're in jail, you still do the same thing after. I mean, you're a huge, icon. So
well, I will say this, and you're right, but that's only part of the story. Okay, so for those of you who know Nelson Mandela, he went to jail for his people.
Right.
He was the leader of the African National Congress, and he wanted to end apartheid, and they put him in jail for it.
Yes.
And he spent 17 years in jail. In this prison cell, I'm going to show you a picture of the prison cell because I was inside the prison cell.
Oh, wow.
There's with me and my kids, and we have that picture up. I'm going to show you how small this prison cell was. Do we have that picture up or no? There it is. There I am.
Wow.
1 second. This is about 3 or 4 years ago. This is actually Nelson Mandela's jail cell.
Wow.
Okay. As far as I am aware, Kim calls this fake news, but it's not.
No.
But as far as I am aware, the only two people who got to step inside of this jail cell between 2010 and 2014 was Brad Bernstein, Gabby Bernstein, and Zach Bernstein, and the Obamas. Don't ask me why I had this privilege. That's a whole other story.
Really?
But everybody walks by the jail cell, but nobody gets the key to go inside.
Oh, wow.
So it was a real privilege for us to go inside. And I'm going to tell you something. If you see in the back right corner behind my daughter,
I do see
is a mattress. There was no bed. There was no
Are
bed
you
he slept on.
serious?
That was the mattress he slept on for 17 years.
Are you serious?
Nelson Mandela.
That's insane.
And I will tell you that that the three of us barely fit in there.
Wow.
Now, the only time he was allowed out of this jail cell, I'm going to tell you why he's a great leader. Okay? The only time he was ever allowed out of this jail cell was to go walk several miles to a rock quarry and then go work in the rock quarry, basically, hard labor.
Wow.
In the rock quarry, whatever they do in the rock quarries, I'm not sure. I only know rock quarries from the Flintstones. But
Right, and I have a feeling it's
whatever they
different.
do in the rock quarry, it's not easy work.
Right.
Okay, they're
Like breaking
they're
the rocks and-
hammering,
yeah.
they're taking rocks, picking rocks up, whatever they're doing.
Right.
It's not easy work.
And then you have to walk miles.
And then
to
you have
get
to
there?
walk miles to there, then walk miles back.
Wow.
And then that was 5 or 6 days a week. And then on the other days, he would only get 1 hour out in the courtyard per day.
Wow.
And that was
Wow.
17 years. Now, I will tell you, I'm going to tell you why he's a great leader and why I think he's one of the greatest leaders certainly of the last 100 years. Arguably, I think the greatest, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because if I had to endure that for 6 months, let alone 17 years, I would be one angry effing lawyer.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay? I would be angry. I would be angry at the people who did this to me.
Yeah.
I would be angry at the people who put me in jail. I would be angry at the entire establishment and system of separating the races, and this is why I'm there.
Yeah.
I would be angry. I would be coming out of jail saying, I'm burning the place down. Right?
Absolutely.
And you know what he did?
Huh.
When he came out, he said, if we burn this place down, there will never ever be peace.
Wow.
And what he did, despite all of the terrible things, and they were terrible, what the apartheid government did to Nelson Mandela, he came out of jail and he put his hand out and made peace. And now when you go to South Africa, although they have a way to go and there's a lot of blacks who are living in poverty, at least politically, there is peace. Maybe not economically, but certainly politically.
Right.
And if it wasn't for Nelson Mandela, South Africa would still be in turmoil today.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, because think about it, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's. I hold bitterness over far lesser things.
That's right. I mean, and what he went through.
Yeah.
So our condolences to the Mandela family. And by the way, Winnie was there the whole entire time. She could have been in his ear and saying, Nelson, you're out of jail now. You can be, you can run this country. You don't need the whites to be in power with you. You can, do to them what they did to you.
Right.
And he didn't.
Wow.
And he didn't do that.
That's a strong person.
And he forgave them.
Yeah.
He was forgiveness. So
Let me tell you,
so that's why I think.
I'm a very stubborn person.
I'm
I
going to
can't
tell you
forgive
something.
like that.
I don't know
Exactly how
many
I feel.
people, if anybody, that would be able to do that.
Would be able to forgive.
Maybe Gandhi. I mean, that's
17 years though. It's so easy to say 17 years, but actually living, understanding he lived there he slept on the ground for 17 years.
all right. So now these two stories. So our condolences to Winnie Mandela, and but we got to move on because these two stories kind of match. I'm giving you a lot of quizzes today.
Okay.
Okay,
Oh,
here's the
Lord.
next quiz.
I did not study.
Jonathan's like, I didn't sign up for quizzes.
Didn't sign
I was
up for the
gonna
quiz.
say.
I signed up to ask questions.
Yeah.
Maybe it was 27 years, Jill is saying. 17. It was 17 on Robben Island. He may have been in a different prison for the other 10 years. Jill is saying she thinks he was in prison for 27 years.
27.
But if you look, just double check that, Jill. But I believe
he served
it was
27 years in
but I
prison.
believe 17 was in Robben Island, and then they moved him.
Yeah, later to
they
Pollsmore
moved
prison
him- they
and
moved
Victor
him- right.
Version prison.
So
27 years?
talking about the polar opposite. Okay, the orange guy in the White House.
There it is. Yeah. I saw
Right,
that
who would, I
coming.
guess, the polar opposite.
Right.
Going from one extreme to the other.
Right.
From selfless to selfish.
Nelson Mandela to Donald Trump.
Right.
It's really not that is about as far a juxtaposition as you can make. All right. So he says now, okay, first of all, over the weekend, a lot of people were on the Sunday talk shows on the news saying, hey, Donald, a storm A storm is coming because everybody likes to now use the Stormy
storm,
Daniels.
It's a good pun.
Right, it's good, right. So, but the storm is really that this Mueller investigation is picking up steam. And one of the people on the Sunday News, who's a Republican actually, his name is Alex Castellanos, and he was worked on the Jeb Bush and Mitt Romney Republican campaigns. He said that Mueller's definitely digging stuff up on Trump. Look, the President of the United States did this, quote, and it was wrong. So now he also says it's hard to believe that when the Republicans lose the House of Representatives in 2018, and I pray to every God on this earth,
Yes.
with every God, I will pray to any God that happens. Everyone, every last one of them. The House is going to impeach him. Now, when you do an impeachment, the House of Representatives impeaches. That's the actual. It's like the grand jury in a criminal prosecution, and then the Senate does the actual trial.
Okay.
But the Senate doesn't love Donald Trump. The House of Representatives, they'll protect him if it's Republican. They won't protect him if it's Democrat. The Republicans in the Senate, they don't love Trump so much. They would impeach him.
Right.
Okay. So, or convict him.
Right.
So really it comes down to whether Trump does 4 years and whether he even goes to jail will depend on who wins the midterm elections coming up this November. Okay, so why now he sees this is going to happen.
Right.
So what does he do? He goes right back to the boogeyman.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Okay, so who's the boogeyman? Immigrants.
They're all but
Immigrants. So he started tweeting, Donald Trump, our country's being stolen by the influx of illegal immigration, blaming the Democrats. He says that, quote, Donald Trump wrote this, caravans.
What?
Where are these caravans? I'd like to see where the caravans, the caravans of people entering the country on the southern border. And he said no more DACA deal. He just wants to just scare everybody. He's trying to play the same playbook again.
Yeah.
Okay. In other words, it's the same playbook.
Yes.
It's the playbook of, you know what? I got elected by putting people against one another, by getting people up in like a lather.
Yeah.
In like this fever. The immigrants, they're stealing from us. They're causing all sorts of havoc. All right, and get people, because he needs people to come to the ballot box to vote for all these crazy Republicans, or he's going to jail.
Absolutely.
Watch, it's going to get worse and worse for immigrants, unfortunately. Not
man.
better and better. By the way, our telephone number, if you want to call, we have 12 open lines right now. Our lines are wide open. It's 1-800-529-5465, 1-800-529-5465, 1-800-LAW-LINK. If you call right now, we will be answering your immigration questions, 1-800-529-5465. If you don't want to call, well, then you could always leave your questions for Belgium Kim, social media queen, Kimmy Kim.
Belgium Kim.
Also known as social media guru, also known as the former social media guru. You can leave them all on Facebook, and she will ask them of me. And if you don't want Kim to ask, you can leave them on Facebook, and birthday boy over here, our birthday boy, Jonathan, will also ask.
This is why I'm here.
That's why you're here. You're here just for the birthday celebration. That's it. So either one of them will ask. You pick. You know what? You pick. I don't want anyone to have to pick over somebody else, but
Lord.
I want everyone to pick. You say, Jonathan, I want you to ask. Kimmy Kim, I want you to ask. Yeah, let's pit everybody against one another now, right?
Right.
Yeah. I like doing Donald Trump. Yeah, put everyone against one another. All right. And by the way, it was April Fool's yesterday.
It was. And April Fool's, Easter, rent was due. I just felt like it was a lot to.
Yeah.
There was
and the irony of it all, the orange guy at the White House declared on April Fool's Day. And you thought maybe this was like an April Fool's
joke, right?
But it's not. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. He proclaimed April to be Sexual Awareness Month.
Oh, get out of here.
Are you serious?
Sexual
On April 1st, that's what the man proclaimed.
Well, but
Are you
that's fitting.
serious?
That's fitting. That would be the only time that I would actually be like, oh yeah, that makes sense that he would tweet it.
I mean, you can't. If you wanted to make stuff up like this, I mean,
Like, you couldn't.
You couldn't make stuff up like this. I mean, is there? I mean, with no hint of irony whatsoever.
Right.
That's
All right. So Trump, obviously, has been accused of sexual misconduct by at least two dozen women.
Yeah.
He's embroiled in 3 lawsuits right now. One, Stormy Daniels. The other, the Playboy Playmate. And third was the woman from The Apprentice, Summer Zervis. And then, of course, he was on tape, although he claims it is not his voice.
Oh, please.
He claims it's not his voice. And he was on tape bragging to Billy Bush, the nephew of our former president,
Yes.
George Bush. Now, Trump says it wasn't him. Billy Bush says, of course it was him.
Obviously it's
Okay?
you.
And he says, I like to grab women by the... Am I allowed to say that?
Hoo-ha.
P-U-S-S-Y. Because I'm allowed to do it because I'm a star.
Right.
That's
yeah,
what
I
he
was
said.
just gonna-
But yet, on April 1st, he makes...
Ugh.
What?
I mean, what is this world coming to?
Disgusting.
You know, I don't know what this world's coming to. All I can tell you is I would end this right now and answer immigration questions, but nobody's calling.
Wow.
Wow.
Nobody's calling. Nobody's got immigration questions today.
No questions today?
None. 1-800-529-5465 is the number to call. 1-800-529-5465. What else is happening? You want to talk about the giant garbage vortex in the Pacific Ocean?
There's a garbage vortex.
There's a vortex.
That sounds like an evil villain.
A vortex of garbage. Look at this. Look at what this looks like in the Pacific Ocean.
Oh, my God.
Because apparently all of the currents force all the garbage that's thrown into the oceans in the world
in one
Into
place.
one
into
place?
one place.
Oh my
And
God.
they call this now the garbage vortex. It is bigger than the country of Spain.
What?
Oh
Yes.
my God.
It is bigger than the country
it?
of Spain. It measures 1.6 million square kilometers
What?
and is a swirling mess of garbage.
What?
Is that to scale? That looks
Yes.
ginormous.
That is ginormous.
Oh, wow.
Wait, what is that?
More than 320 million tons of plastic are produced every year, and a disturbing large amount ends up in the Pacific. So they're now
Wow.
bringing this to the attention of America and the rest of the world because we are the ones who are polluting.
Yeah.
Okay, and of course Donald Trump has told the EPA to gut all sorts of environmental regulations to allow this to continue.
That's insane.
All right, 1-800-5. By the way, maybe I wasn't clear. Maybe I have to be clearer.
Okay, go ahead.
If you don't call the number, I can't answer your immigration question.
It's not a minor.
True or not true? It's not a minor. It's a major detail,
Yeah,
right?
It's a major detail.
It is a major
Yes.
detail. So call right now, 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. Also, please share this with your friends and family. Let them know that we are on, and I will be answering your immigration questions. 1-800-529-5465. Oh, this was a cute picture. Oh, well, let's do the sharing video first. There it is.
Oh yeah.
There it is. And
Share,
that's how
guys.
you share.
If you share, that's how we're gonna get people to answer or to ask questions.
That is
So,
very, very true.
There
That
you
is
go.
very, very, very
We can't help
true.
your friends if they don't know the cause.
Could this be the first show ever where nobody calls with an immigration question?
Never.
I would.
Could this
there's
be it?
no
Doubt
way.
it.
There's no
I
way.
don't
It's
know.
Jonathan's birthday. I think everyone is busy
Right.
celebrating and like
maybe
can't
they're,
get over
or
the
maybe they're like
Drink for
maybe
me.
they're like Groundhog Sam and like passed out from their sugar comas.
Sugar comas.
I don't know. Did you see this picture of the elephant carrying? This is going to be the picture of the year, I guarantee you.
Oh,
Watch.
I did
Look at this
see that.
picture.
Yeah.
So this was in Kruger National Park, talking about South Africa. This is in South Africa, and they were filing a lioness carrying her baby cub. Can we put this up on the main screen? And she was getting tired, this lioness, and the elephant showed up
Oh, look at
to
that.
help the lioness.
Wow.
And the elephant put the lioness in its trunk and carried the
Wow.
baby cub
That's it.
all the way to wherever
Wow.
the lioness wanted to go. Apparently, the lioness and the elephant are able to talk to one another.
Yeah, I was about to say.
They,
so how they
I don't
even-
know.
How the elephant
I
even
don't know what language they speak. I don't know if the lion speaks elephant or the elephant speaks lion. I'm not exactly sure. They didn't make it really clear to us. But apparently, they're able to speak, and the lion said, "Yeah, I'll be more than happy
Or the elephant.
to carry you."
I think that's a crazy. Aren't lions predators of elephants? Like that's an insane
No, nobody wants to
story.
kill. Nobody wants to mess with an elephant. Did you ever see how big an elephant is?
Yeah,
elephants are big.
They can't do it like in a.
I'm gonna tell you something. When you like, if you're walking down the street and you see like a really big person, he's like, oh my god, that really big person looks like an elephant. Okay, that really big person is not an elephant.
No.
An elephant is really big. I mean, it's beyond any big person that you will ever see. And this lioness is not gonna go. I mean, if you look back at the picture,
Right, she wouldn't do
And
it
this
by
looks
herself.
like a young elephant as well.
yeah,
Like,
and if you look back at the picture, look how bring the picture up again. If you look how big the elephant is compared to the lioness.
And look how cute that little
Okay.
cub
I
is.
know.
I gotta be honest, when Jill showed me this picture this morning, like literal tears. I welled up a little. It was just so cute. It's so cute.
Bar.
All right,
Yeah.
so let's go to our lines. 1-800-529-5465. Dennis is going to be the leader of the group
Hey,
here.
Dennis.
Way to go, Dennis.
1-800-529-5465. Dennis, how are you?
Yes, hi, Brad.
Good. What's up?
I called you last week about renewing an expired license.
Uh-huh.
My question is, I don't. I also lost my passport, so can I renew the license without the?
Do you have the driver's
passport?
license? You have the driver's license? Yeah, as long as you have the driver's license. I assume when you got your well, let me ask you this question. Do you have a driver's license through your work permit, or you have your driver's license through you have a green card already?
I have a driver's license through the green card.
Okay, so then you should be able to renew it without having to show a passport.
Okay, so what do I get when I because I would like you to do it for me.
You have the conditional green card. Is that your concern, or you have your permanent green card? Tell me what your concern is with renewing your driver's license.
I had the green card, but I lost it. I also lost the green card. But
Okay.
I came here. I came here legally.
Okay, fine. So when you originally got your driver's license, you submitted your green card. So they should have that all on record. You shouldn't have to come back and do it again. So they should have it. Just bring your old driver's license, and they should renew it.
Okay, and how long does it take to renew the
Driver's license?
Yeah.
I don't know. 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I haven't renewed my driver's license. My license is up next year, so I'm like 8-9 years from the last time I renewed my driver's license. But I don't know, Kim. What do you think?
I have no idea.
Okay, I would like you to renew the green card. So
Okay, that we
can
can
you
do.
it?
Yeah, that we can do. Hold on 1 second, okay? Hold on. All right. 1-800, I don't know how long it takes. I got a couple weeks, I guess. I mean, how long can a driver's license be? 1-800-529-5465. Tamika in Long Island, how are you?
Hi, Lord.
Hi, Tamika.
Nelson.
Tamika Nelson! Hello!
Hey.
How's Kevin?
Oh, thank
How's
you
Kevin?
so much.
How's Kevin?
Kevin is okay. I'm telling him to come and watch the show. He don't want to listen.
He doesn't want to
But
listen.
I'm gonna see. Yeah, I'm gonna see him on Saturday. I'm going down
All
there.
right, you tell him to watch. Everything good?
Yes. Everything is okay.
You're just calling to say hello. That's so sweet because nobody was calling our show
Right.
today.
Oh,
She's so
knows.
sweet. So sweet. So
You
sweet.
can always depend on Brad
All
Spar.
right. Oh, Brad Squat's in my corner. All right. Thanks, Tamika.
Thank you, Tamika.
Be well.
Welcome.
Thank you. All right. That's Tamika Nelson, ladies and gentlemen. Well, she is, by the way, she was the first guest we've ever had on our show, Yannick.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, the first guest we ever had on our show, it was the only time we did it. It was one of the best things we ever did. We did the
wow.
Gratified Marriage with her and Kevin.
Oh.
Yes, and they did not do very well, although we know it's a very good marriage.
You'll see people still talk about the was it red and black lingerie?
Yes.
The question was
Yeah, the question
what did she wear?
was it was like a bad newlywed game. The question was what did Tamika wear for her wedding or something like that.
Yeah, like on your
Right,
wedding day.
On your wedding day. Oh yeah, that was it. What did Tamika wear? So you would think the answer would be a white dress,
Yeah.
or something
And
like
that's
that.
all she answered was
Right.
just a white dress.
So,
That's all she said.
So
Yeah.
she answered, puts up the card, white dress. And Kevin, who is in Jamaica, because they're going to go on an interview, they're going to answer these questions.
Right.
So these are the questions they will ask. He puts up red and black lingerie, and we're like, whoa,
We're talking about the day of.
Yeah, we're like, whoa.
It's still one of my favorite answers.
All right, so if you call now, we will be answering your immigration questions, so forever hold your peace, because in about 2 minutes, we're ready to go to Block C, which is Facebook questions. So if you want to call and get to speak to us, right now is the time to do it. Our lines are wide open. 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-LAW-LINK, 1-800-529-5465. Perhaps people are very shy today. I don't know. And if they're shy, then we can go straight to Facebook questions. But if they're not shy, then we can
Don't be shy.
You what? Don't be shy.
Right.
Don't be shy, right?
Don't be shy. No reason to be shy.
No reason.
I'll tell you, they're not being shy on Facebook.
Not being shy on Facebook.
No.
They never
All right,
are.
so then, you know what? You ready to go to the next block?
Sure.
Let's go.
do it.
Go do it. All right. What we got on Facebook? What's happening?
Go for it.
All right, so Jason Jones wants to know, how long would it take for a U.S. citizen to file for their adult child?
A U.S. citizen to file for an adult child. Well, excuse me. I was bending down. I
Yeah,
didn't realize
I
they were
was
going to come
saying,
back
what do
to
you-
me.
Right
Yeah.
back.
I mean, come on, you know. You
It
see me
is.
bending
Yeah.
down. Don't go right back
Did
to
you
me.
see how slow I said the last
Yeah,
part? Like,
come on.
They're adult.
Boy,
child. He's
oh
still
boy.
here like,
Yeah. I'm like, sit down. They're like, Brad, what are you doing? You look like you're a dog over there, right? All right, so for an adult, married or single?
just as adult child. So let's give both.
Adult child single is about 7 years. Adult child married is about 14 or 15.
Wow.
Riza says, my mother was naturalized in 2000 when I was 16 years old, and I lived in the Philippines at the time. I arrived in the U.S. in 2004, and I was 20 years old at the time when I got here. Am I still available to claim a certificate of citizenship through my mother?
No, because you came here over the age of 18.
Ugh,
So you have to naturalize.
that makes me sad.
Yes, sorry.
All right. Tanisha McNabb.
Uh-huh.
All right, my friend is planning to get married here. She's engaged to a citizen. She lives in Jamaica. They send in their paperwork to immigration, but however, they said they need more proof that she's going to get married in 90 days. They sent pictures. He visits regularly. What other stuff should they send?
An affidavit saying we plan on getting married in 90 days and we're going down to City Hall, or
Tell them.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize. I thought we were in the 3. An affidavit. Thank you very much.
problem.
All right, I needed that media trivia.
I got you, baby.
You got me. All right. So you need an affidavit saying you're going down to City Hall to get married. So you'll write an affidavit. I plan on going down to City Hall to get married. We plan to do it within the first 90 days of entering the United States. Or you get a letter from your pastor or whoever, whatever church you kind of belong to, or a synagogue or whatever it may be. And they will, the pastor or whoever the leader of your church is, or synagogue or mosque, or I don't know, whatever the leader of your religious denomination is, will write a letter saying, I've been contacted by Sam, and Sam said he's going to marry Sally in 90 days, and I'm all ready for them. And as soon as they come, they're going to go get the license, and they're getting married in my church or synagogue, whatever it is. So either something from a pastor or a religious leader, or just an affidavit saying, I'm going down to City Hall. What more can you prove?
All right.
Asha says, my husband is a British citizen and he overstayed his U.S. visa and he's working in the USA. The company for which he's working right now wants to sponsor him. But is it possible for them to sponsor him even though he's overstayed?
Well, it depends what type of visa he overstayed on. If he came on a visitor's visa, then he would either need to be 245I or be eligible for a provisional waiver. Otherwise, if he came on a student visa or a J visa, then yes, it's possible. So it depends a lot on what type of visa he overstayed, and then if he overstayed on a visa that doesn't that's other than a student or a J, then we have to even inquire more whether or not he's 245I or needs a provisional waiver. So basically, not every person who overstays can get sponsored in a job. Many can, many can't. You need a consultation.
Awesome. All right, Reginald Amada. Hi, Brad. It's confusing to me. Please explain. So for a bad moral character statutes period, is it after 3 or 5 years after you get a green card, or is it the last 3 to 5 years before you file your citizenship?
It's based on your citizenship. So basically, if you're doing your citizenship based on marriage, in a bona fide marriage to a U.S. citizen, then you need 3 years good moral character prior to filing your citizenship. If you're basing it on 5 years, not on marriage, then you need 5 years good moral character. So it's backwards from the date in which you file your citizenship. Did I answer his question?
Yeah.
That is confusing, though. I get why he was confused by that. Iwagwu, I'm sorry, says, I came into the U.S. last year in March of 2017. I met a woman who I married, and we've been living together, and I've been living here since September of 2017. I'm trying to change my status, but my wife's income isn't sufficient. What do I do, and am I even eligible to get my green card? I came in on a B1, B2.
Yeah, as long as you're married to a citizen, you absolutely can. Now, if your wife's not making enough money, you're going to need an affidavit of support from a second person. So you're going to ask a second person who lives in the United States, who's either a citizen or a resident. They don't have to be related to you. They just have to be within the 50 states of America, living here. And you're going to ask them for 3 years tax returns and a job letter to show that they can support you 125% above the poverty level. I've never met a person who didn't know at least one person who'd be willing to do that.
All right, Karkushberg. All right. Must I be in the same state as my daughter when she files my I-130? Or must she also file an I-130 for my wife, who is her stepmom? We got married when she was 9.
What do you mean must you be in what's the same state?
So do they have to be in the same state as the daughter when she's filing the I-130?
No. So in other words, you can file one adjustment for one and a different adjustment for another if, let's say, maybe the daughter's living with the father.
And it's the same with the stepmother?
Same with the stepmother. Who's filing for who? Let me just make sure.
So the daughter is filing for him and her stepmother.
Yes, you don't have to be in the same state. Okay.
Since she was 9.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to be in the same state. So in other words, the daughter may live in New York and the parents and the stepfather may be living in Florida.
Exactly.
That's fine.
Okay.
Hypothetically, I don't know.
Elise says, my friend came in on a visitor's visa from Jamaica and applied for asylum due to an attack. Some months after, she got a job sponsorship as a registered nurse. How can she obtain her green card if she doesn't have 245I and isn't qualified for a waiver through her parents? Are there any other waivers or pardons available for her?
Why doesn't she qualify through her parents? Her parents are not here?
I don't know. I'm assuming it just says she doesn't.
She would need to have a consultation with us. We have to see where she is on the asylum case.
I got in a little last minute question here. What if you have 5 years of good moral character and they still use your past to deny you your citizenship?
Then you need to come see a good lawyer to argue that they are wrong. I don't know what they're doing or saying. I don't know your history. But if you feel they're wrong, that's why you hire a good lawyer to argue on your behalf. Jonathan, that's it?
I have one. Can a polygamist marry more than one person to immigrate to the U.S.?
No. No. You're only allowed, there's no polygamy allowed. Sorry. Sorry, polygamists out there.
That was Jeff.
Sorry. Jeff Bosey wanted to know that.
I think Jeff Bosey wants to marry Anna. He's trying to figure out how to swing it.
Let's speak to Tim in Boston, Massachusetts. Tim?
Yes.
Yeah, Tim, what's up?
My question is, my friend got arrested, and when he got arrested, they found out that he has immigration detainer. But the only correspondence, so he's wondering, because the only correspondence he has from them is him to explain arrests he has on his record, because he's filing for asylum.
Okay. Where is he from?
He's from Kenya.
Okay, so this guy's from Kenya. What did he get arrested for?
So right now he got arrested because it's a domestic.
All right, so he has a domestic violence incident. He gets arrested. Did he have a prior incident?
Not on that nature. The other ones were kind of minor little stuff, like he was. I think the last time the case that he has right now, he was just he was outside his car, but he was drunk. So
all right.
It was like disorderly conduct.
All right. So I don't know what his situation is, but this is the general gist of it. If you get arrested okay, in a sanctuary area, sanctuary state, a sanctuary city, they're not going to alert immigration to put a detainer on you unless you have already been convicted of some deportable offense or you were arrested for a very serious offense initially, and it looks like pretty bad for you. So, for example, drinking outside of a car would be a minor offense, and if that would be it, then they wouldn't notify immigration. Now, as soon as you have a very serious charge levied against you, or you already have deportable offenses, even if you're in a sanctuary city or not, they're going to notify immigration. And immigration comes and puts a detainer on you. So what does that mean? When immigration puts a detainer on you, what they're saying is, once the criminal case is resolved, for you or against you, we don't care. We want this guy, and now you're going to go sit in immigration detention to try to get deported. Now, what happens a lot is you don't know that there's an immigration detainer on you. You pay the bail for the criminal case, so maybe they put like $5,000 bail on the domestic violence, and now you've satisfied that bail. They release you from criminal jail, but no, they're not releasing you from criminal jail. They're basically handing you over to immigration, who also has a detainer on you, and then you have to pay a second bail to be released from there. So generally, that's what would need to happen. So you end up having, when you have an immigration detainer, two separate bails, one for the criminal and one for the immigration. Has he done that?
So we didn't. They told me, we're not going to release them. They could just to let you know because he has immigration detainer.
They're not going to. You're not going to what? They're not going to what?
They're not going to release them because they have immigration detainer.
So, but
we
even,
didn't pay the 25.
But even with an immigration detainer, unless he's an aggravated felon from a prior conviction, they have to also give him a bail. So I would need to know what his prior incidences are. What you've told me is they are minor. It's drinking outside of a car. And now maybe even if he has a serious domestic violence situation, he's still entitled to bail unless he's convicted of that crime. So what I would suggest, Tim, is hold on 1 second and let's take a closer look at what's going on there, okay? Let's go to James in Dayton, Ohio. James.
Yes.
How you doing?
Great. I have a question. I know a lot of people that was in the military.
Yep.
And after they served the country, they got deported. And I never understood that.
You know a lot of people in the military, and the question is what?
After they served the country,
they got deported. Okay.
Right.
So we actually have had those people on our show. There are plenty of people who grew up in the United States, grew up as children, had green cards, presumed they were citizens, and served in the military. And the reason why you hear that happening a lot is because when they come back from combat, wherever they were in combat, a lot of people have post-traumatic stress disorder, and then they do things that they otherwise wouldn't have done. They get arrested, they do something wrong. A lot of it is because PDS, I forgot the acronym, but post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, and then they end up getting deported. And it's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. As a matter of fact, we're going to have Hector Barajas on our show, I believe on tomorrow or Wednesday, tomorrow. And he is a deported veteran. He actually has a deported veterans organization. He thought he was a citizen, and he wasn't. Now, he just obtained his citizenship. We're going to talk about it with him tomorrow. Any person who served in active military duty during times of hostility, even if they got deported, can still apply for U.S. citizenship. So, a lot of people just don't know what their rights are, James.
Right. And I think it's so wrong. Like, what? How can somebody risk their life? And the sad part was that actually witnesses happened. As we were coming home, and as you got stateside, it happened right then and there. And I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, right, because he sits there and defends our country, and then they deport him. It's a terrible thing.
Yeah.
It's a terrible, terrible thing. So when our politicians say respect the military, they're not really respecting the military. Because the person who got deported... The person who got deported did more to support our country than an American citizen who never went abroad to go fight.
Yeah, and sad part is a lot of these guys come from countries where they're forced into the military, and here people...
That's right.
You volunteer
they volunteer
to.
You're 100% right. So watch
they don't join, And it's like we treat them a lot better, and I never understood that.
That's right. Well, watch our show tomorrow because we're going to have Hector on, and he's going to talk about his organization, and he's going to talk about how he got deported. He's been out of the country for over 14 years now. So, and he's now just going to be coming back as a U.S. citizen. So watch tomorrow, and we'll talk about it more. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks. All right. 1-800. He happens to be right. 1-800-529-5465. Let's go to Faisal in Manhattan. Faisal.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hey, Faisal,
sir.
how are you?
I'm good, and yourself?
Good. What's happening?
I did file for I-130. That's my wife who did file for me. That was like 2 years now. And ever since we received the receipt, we never heard from the USCIS, and I don't even know what the problem might be.
All right. Where are you from?
I'm from Senegal.
You're from Senegal. And how did you come to America?
I came through the border.
You came without inspection or you came with a visa? Is my question.
No, I came without inspection.
Okay, fine. And you filed an I-130 visa petition 2 years ago. You haven't heard anything?
Yes, please.
Your wife's a resident or a citizen?
Oh, she's a citizen.
You should have heard already. Hold on. You need help. You live in Manhattan. Our office is in Manhattan. No reason not to come see us. Hold on. You need help. 2 years, you should have heard. All right, let's go to Carol in Bridgeport. Carol.
Yeah, I'm talking for Carol. She just ran to the bathroom. Hey,
no
brother.
problem. Hey, Carol.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Carol, spokesperson. How are you?
I'm good, man.
What's going on?
We got a daughter. She got married to a U.S. citizen about 3 years now, and he didn't put the paperwork in, but now he abandoned the relationship. I guess he found out he was gay, so he moved on. So we were just wondering if we could file a desertion or
There's no desertion. When you have never gotten a green card at all, you're about to file, you're going to either apply for your 2-year or your permanent green card, whatever it may be. The only way you're getting a green card through the marriage is you and your spouse show up to an interview and prove it's a bona fide marriage, or you file on your own as an abused spouse. Either you were physically abused or extreme emotional abuse. Now, maybe there was extreme emotional abuse. Maybe yes, maybe no. I don't know. I don't know the situation. Okay, maybe there was physical abuse. I don't know the situation. All we know is the guy found out he was gay and he left. That's not extreme emotional abuse. Otherwise, you get divorced and you got to find another way. Now, a lot of times people misunderstand that as I want to file for abandonment. There is no abandonment. Now, just let's take a step forward so people understand, because someone's going to say, wait a second, I know somebody who filed for abandonment and got their green card. And the answer is yes. That's from the time you get your 2-year green card to you getting your permanent green card. When you're going from your 2-year to your 10-year, you can file for abandonment. You can show you got divorced and it was a real marriage. But you can't do that from 0 to 2. You can only do that from 2 to 10.
Okay.
You understand? So if there was abuse, she should come and talk to us. If there was no abuse, get divorced, and we got to find another way.
All right, bro.
All right?
Appreciate it, man.
You're welcome. Be well. All right, 1-800-529-5465, 1-800-529-5465. We're going to go back to our Facebook questions. What do we got?
Yeah.
We got Chantel, who says, if you're undocumented and your husband wants to file for his citizenship, both of you are living together, on the citizenship application where they ask you for your wife's name and address, should he put that on the form that he's living at the same address, or is that going to be a problem?
Why would you not say that?
Right? That's kind of what I was thinking, too.
You have to prove that you and your spouse live together if you're filing for your spouse. So if you say you're not living at the same address as your spouse, you're not going to get a green card. Of course you got to be living together.
Ooh. Okay, we have one from Andrena. Andrena?
I'm going to tell you something. For a guy whose birthday it is today, and maybe you're saving your energy for later, you look like a very sad birthday boy today.
There was a lot of liquid consumption yesterday.
You were hanging out with Sam the Groundhog yesterday.
Right.
I see.
So I'm here still working.
You're like in about an hour and a half for my birthday, I'm going to sleep.
No, I'm actually going back out tonight. So definitely trying to save up.
Are you saving up the energy? Yeah, because usually you're like exploding out of your skin. You know, today you're very calm today.
Liquor that's exploding out of my skin.
Yeah, I've been meaning to say that. The pore smell is really starting.
I sprayed extra Versace today just because of
I'm glad I'm over here. All right.
Yeah.
All right, so what was the
All right, and Jenny. Hi, Brad. My spouse got an illegal visa about 15 years ago. He traveled back, was turned back at the airport. He went to the embassy in 2014 and was denied. How can he obtain a U.S. visa?
He can't. He committed misrepresentation. So once you commit misrepresentation, you're never getting a green card. I mean, you're never getting another visa to come to America. You've already committed fraud. They don't reward you for committing fraud. Now, with that said, I guess I should be looking this way. I'm looking at the wrong one. Again, media training, all right? With that being said, you know, there's waivers if he gets married for misrepresentation. There's also non-immigrant visa waivers, but you have to have a really good reason why you need to come to America. It's not, I want to take a vacation to see the Empire State Building behind me.
Chantel had a follow-up. So we may have slightly misunderstood her question. So she's undocumented. Her husband is a green card holder who's currently filing for his citizenship. So on the citizenship form, when it's being asked, what is your wife's address?
Put it down.
She's worried that it's going to alert that she's an undocumented.
Guess what? They're going to find out as soon as he becomes a citizen and he files for you. Right. Okay, no one's going to come to your home and deport you. What we don't want to do is lie on his citizenship application. So either he's found lying on his citizenship application and now he doesn't become a citizen, or he becomes a citizen, then files for you. You guys are living together, and then, hey, wait a second, that's not what you said on an application 6 months earlier. Tell the truth. Worst case, let's think of the worst thing in the world. Okay, I'm wrong. Mm-hmm. And immigration comes and knocks on the door. I promise you, if I'm your lawyer, I can hold up the deportation for years and years while waiting for the months and months for your husband to become a citizen. And as long as you didn't commit a crime, you're bail eligible. No one's going to hold you in jail. So tell the truth.
Awesome. All right, Mohammed El Wazan. Hey guys, you're doing a great job. Thank you. I'd like to ask, my sister filed for me since 2011, and I've been single at the time. However, now I'm married. Last time when I asked Mr. Brad, he mentioned that I have to file for my wife. So the question is, when shall I file for my wife, and shall I do it now or after the approval?
Well, no, your sister filed for you, so you could include your wife on the application. Your case is probably already at the National Visa Center. You already have an approved I-130, and whatever your case number is, I don't know where he's from. So, if you're from Jamaica, it would start with KNG. It would start with an abbreviation for the city in which you're going to get your green card ultimately. So Jamaica is KNG, Trinidad is PTS, Philippines is MAN, Manila. I can go on and on and on. England is LON, London, right? Mm-hmm. So it depends on what country you're from. So you'll see it from the National Visa Center where your case is from, and write the National Visa Center with a copy, not an original, but a copy of the marriage certificate, and you ask them, with this case number, my sister filed for me, this is the name of the petitioner, I'm the beneficiary, I'm now married, here's my wife's name, here's my case number, and here's a copy of the marriage certificate, please include her on the case.
He just said, no, it's not approved yet, I'm Egyptian.
It's not approved yet since 2011?
That's what he said,
it's not approved yet, then you have a case.
I remember him now.
You remember him now, so he's Cairo.
Yeah.
So you would write wherever the case, the last, you get an EAC number or an NBC number you got a receipt notice, write the Immigration Service who sent you a copy of the I-130 receipt notice, copy that I-130 receipt notice, do the same exact thing, send it back to the office where you got the receipt notice from, and put a copy of the marriage certificate with you.
Awesome.
Okay?
Thank you.
All right. So any event, Kimmy, Kim, and Jonathan.
Yes.
I know you're aware of this. I don't know if Jonathan
I am
is.
aware of this.
I had spoken to Jorge Narvaez. He's a very influential YouTuber. He has almost 1 million followers on
Wow.
YouTube, just short of about 1 million followers on YouTube.
That's amazing.
Okay, he was on The Ellen Show. He was on America's Got Talent.
Oh, wow.
And he now on all of his platforms has a channel called Reality Changers, and he focuses on his family and his family relationships and the love between him and his family and his music and his community, because he has Mexican and Hispanic heritage and culture. So he came on our show. We interviewed him a little earlier about all of this. Let's watch.
Okay.
So we're joined today by Jorge Narvaez. You may remember him from the Ellen DeGeneres Show and America's Got Talent. His cover song of "Home" by Edward Sharpe and the Magnetic Zeros with his young daughter Alexa went all over the internet, over 30 million views on YouTube, and he has since turned that into being a social media activist. He has over 1 million combined followers on all of his platforms. His YouTube channel, Reality Changers, focuses on his family's love of music, community, Hispanic culture, and art throughout the world. He joins us today to share his immigration story. Originally from Mexico, he's in the United States as a lawful permanent resident, perhaps even a U.S. citizen now, and he uses his platform to advocate for social justice. We're going to find out all about Jorge's immigration story and what he's doing today. Jorge, welcome. How are you?
Hi, how are you doing? Brad, it's good to meet you.
So that must have been a whirlwind. You went from just doing like a cover song on YouTube, I guess, to being on the Ellen DeGeneres Show, and all of a sudden you became this very famous guy. How did that all go down?
Honestly, it happened out of nowhere. I was finishing up my midterms at UCSD, and I was on my way to a meeting, and I get this call, and this is crazy because this is the biggest question of all. How did they get my number? I get a call from Ellen DeGeneres' manager and producer, and she's like, "Hey, we really want you on the show," and I'm like, "For what?"
Right.
And and I was freaking out because the video itself, I posted it just for fun. It's just me and my daughter singing a song, and a few days later, it went viral, and it was amazing. It was a life-changing moment.
Was this the first song you ever posted, or have you been posting songs a while? You had like a bit of a following, and then all of a sudden this one just took off?
No. I was just using my YouTube channel just to post random things, maybe some covers. It wasn't until I posted this video that everything just came out,
And then out of nowhere, Ellen sees this, I guess, or the producer from Ellen DeGeneres sees this viral video, and you're off to the races.
Oh gosh, that's when it all started. I ended up on the show with my daughter, and I told myself I wanted to keep it very, very simple. If we were going to perform the way we perform on the video, and we did. And it was amazing being on the show. My daughter was awarded a car, like a tiny Barbie car, and instead of her going towards the car to get all the prizes, all the dolls that were on top of it, she went straight to the audience. She was saying hi to everybody. She was hugging people, and that's the kind of thing that I loved about that moment. I was like, you know what? This is what it's supposed to be about. It's about family. It's about fun.
And that put you then, I guess, catapulted you to America's Got Talent. How was that?
From there, a light bulb hit. I was thinking to myself, hey, what if I could start doing this maybe more often, maybe posting more videos? I got reached out by Maker Studios, which is now part of Disney, and they said to me, hey, have you considered vlogging? I was like, vlogging? What does that mean? No, it's like video blogging. So I decided, I discovered that I've been recording my kids since they were babies, and I've been kind of vlogging, so I just wasn't familiar with the terms because I wasn't really familiar with like the YouTube world still. And then more videos, we put more videos, and then we ended up on the America's Got Talent.
Wow, that's amazing. So when you originally did this, you were not a vlogger. You had an everyday job. What were you doing? I guess this is now your full-time profession is being a YouTuber, I guess is the term, or social media activist. I don't know what you prefer, but what were you doing at that time?
I was finishing school at UCSD. I was getting my major my bachelor's degree, which I did finish. I graduated in June.
Right.
I ended up being the first person in my entire family to graduate from high school and college.
Right.
So I graduated with a degree, and then to myself thinking, okay, what am I going to do next?
Right.
Should I go to grad school? Should I go to law school? I wanted to become a lawyer, I wanted to become a grad student, become a professor maybe, teach, maybe do some theory, I don't know, write a book. But then I thought to myself, the goal of what I'm trying to do in my life is to try to be as present as possible with my kids. And this is something I discovered when I started singing to them, and also just in general at that time in my life. So I was like, what if I take the opportunity of doing YouTube videos and risk it, see what happens? I did it. And unfortunately, I didn't end up going to law school, and I ended up going to start doing full-time YouTube. Through the process, through the 6-7 years of doing YouTube videos, a lot of crazy stuff happened, including America's Got Talent. I actually ended up getting getting back with the mother of my kids, and a lot of crazy things, just an adventure, just of a lifetime.
Two things I have for you as a follow-up to that. Number one, did you always know that you had talent, or were you surprised when you got a call from Ellen that somebody actually wanted you to go on a show? Or did you always knew you had talent and you just didn't really pursue it? Or was this something like that was just a shock to you? You want me to sing for you?
It wasn't until this happened that I was like, wait a minute, this could be an opportunity for me to pursue my passion, right? My passion is to sing. Now, passion projects aren't necessarily, something you pursue unless you're sure that it's going to help you, in the future. And I just decided to take the risk.
You said you got back together with the mother of your children. So take me through what happened. I'm sure it's a cute story. You got back on Ellen, all of a sudden you're getting all this notoriety. Who reached out to who?
We got back together just a few years ago, but after being in certain relationships that were really good, were really bad, just learning from our experience these past 6 years of co-parenting and being parents, we just decided to give each other a second shot. She has matured a lot. I have matured a lot, and went through supportive counseling. She went through supportive counseling. We went through a lot of ups and downs, and we were almost married to other people too, which were wonderful people. But we both made a decision when we both were single. Hey, let's do this. We have a bigger purpose. Let's make this happen. I know this whole video thing happened out of nowhere, which was very, very unexpected. But let's make something out of it together. We've been through hell. We've been through all these things. We went through this amazing experience at the Ellen Show, America's Got Talent, a few awards, and then this whole immigration story, and then my mom. And I'm like, you know what? What's better than to stick together stronger? So we did the impossible. Come on. How many people do you know, especially in your profession, who got back together after 6 years?
Not many.
After going through a legal custody battle.
Not many. Not many. And happily together.
Exactly. And it's not always happy.
And I think
I'm pretty sure.
I think the key word that you said was maturity, maybe.
Absolutely. And that's what it's about.
Yeah.
Maturity and understanding each other's flaws and and appreciating each other's goodness,
So now this is, as you know, an immigration show, and we're all about helping people here. You have a pretty interesting immigration story yourself. I know that you're originally from Mexico. Do you know when you came to America? Do you remember when?
I wasn't conscious yet. I was a baby. This is from what my mom told me. My dad, during the 1980s, there was a bunch of amnesty going on. I don't know exactly what happened, but during that time, it wasn't that difficult to look for work and to just cross the U.S.-Mexican border. It was actually much easier. The border was a little bit more, open at that time. And my dad decided to come over and start working, and there was just not a lot of opportunities where she was at. So my dad and mom were basically forced to leave the Guadalajara, to pursue a better life, to the point where my dad crossed me over with him. My dad crossed me over. My mom had to cross the U.S.-Mexican border through the desert. So I was already here by 1987, I have to say. Right. 1987. And I've been living here since.
And your parents were here before that?
My parents were here before, but just like a few months behind.
Right.
We all came at the same time.
So do you remember when you got your green card? Do you remember when you got your permanent residence?
I didn't get my permanent residence until while I was in college.
While you were in college. When did you find out?
UCSD.
Did you grow up not knowing your immigration status?
I did grow up not knowing what my immigration status was. I didn't know I was undocumented until I decided to look for a job while I was in high school.
Right.
And I was so disappointed, man, because, see, the thing is that this is something that's just lack of knowledge and lack of education about the complexity of immigration. I mean, This is so complicated. My mom told me, I was like, hey, I'm going to start looking for a job. She's like, well, you got to be careful because you're undocumented. And I was like, what? What? Oh my God.
Did it just come out of nowhere? Just like, like you're having a Pop-Tart after school and she just blurts it out? Or was it like, I want to sit down and have a long, conversation with you about it?
No, not at all. It was very nonchalant. It was very, just a very simple conversation. And my mom just said it very bluntly. No, just you're undocumented, I just never had the chance to. And my mom really didn't. She never had the chance. She never had the money. She never had the time. She didn't have the support. So
and how did that make you feel? What was your feeling?
I was shocked.
Yeah.
I was so shocked. I was very disappointed. I was very angry.
Right.
I mean, here I am, a teenager, and at the time, I wanted to start working. I was in high school. I was, I think, a junior, and I'm getting ready to start thinking about college. But at the same time, I need my money. I need to start working. So why not? But unfortunately, when I found out.
So you didn't look for the job. What did you do? How did you end up getting your green card, if I ask?
I ended up getting my green card with a crazy law loophole. Found out my case was open in 1986 because of an amnesty.
There was an amnesty that there was it could have been probably as a derivative of your parent, probably.
Yes.
Because there was two amnesties at the time. There was one that was if you were here between 82 and 86 illegally and resided here between 86 and 88, you got a green card. And there was another one for special agricultural workers who worked on a farm for 90 days. And then there was family unity benefits for those people whose children were here prior to 1988, and you said you had come in 87, which is my guess of what happened, but I don't know. It doesn't matter. What most matters is you got your green card, and you certainly did fix yourself. So you had an issue, I read in the pre-notes here. You had an issue with ICE after you got your green card, and then you were working in a bakery, and then they came and ransacked your home anyway? What happened with that?
Woo! Man, that brings me back. Oh, God, that was a tough time.
Yeah.
So I was already a permanent resident by then. I was already a permanent resident working at the French Gourmet. I was working there for a few years, and then there was a raid. There was a raid at the bakery, and about 15 men and maybe 3 women were apprehended for some weird reason. I don't know how. My name came up as one of the potential suspects of being undocumented.
Right.
So they tracked me down to my address.
And you were a lawful resident. You're legal at this point.
Exactly. I mean, nothing can stop me at this point, right? I'm feeling invincible. I can work now. And so I'm on my way to my house, and then I found out that there was a raid at the bakery, and I get a knock at the door, and it's like a group of men in they're military outfits and ICE outfits, and I see one in the balcony, just standing there. There's 2 in the door, and they're asking to come into my house, and I'm like, based on what my friend told me, if you really don't have anything to hide, I don't have anything to hide, so I'm just going to let them in. But I was concerned about the fact that they thought I was maybe going to think of running through my balcony because there was someone waiting.
Now,
there.
let me give you some legal advice, okay? You don't have to let anybody in, and this is for everybody. If ICE comes and knocks on your door, unless there is a warrant from a judge, you are the king of your home. You don't have to let them in, whether they have something to find or not. It's like, I got pulled over. I was born in America. I've never had ICE come knock on my door, but I'll give you an analogy. I was pulled over a couple of years ago, and the police officer said, "Do you mind if I search your car?" And I know I have absolutely nothing in my car, but I know I have rights. I'm a lawyer, and no, you don't have a right to search my car. Period. Okay, because if I say yes, then they go and search. Just like if they come and knock on your door, it's like in the movies. May I enter? No, you may not enter. and they're not allowed, and you know, you didn't know this at the time. You were obviously younger and less informed, and you just let them in, and they came and ransacked your home. Because
they came into my house.
You said, "Come on in."
Unfortunately,
come on in. Right.
I mean, I really had nothing to hide.
It's not the point,
nothing
right?
to hide.
It's you have a right to privacy. That's what you have, though. You have a right to your own privacy.
And what's worse is that I don't think they knew that I lived on campus. I don't think they knew that they were on UCSD premises.
Right.
Which is very, I don't know, I heard something else after that too. But they came into the house, they went through my daughter's cupboards, they went through her clothes, they went through my clothes. And I just could tell, like, they weren't looking for people. I think at that point they realized maybe they had made a mistake, and maybe they were looking for something. You know,
I think they. I think they saw Mexican heritage, and they said, "You're an easy target. Let me go get him." And then they realized that you were a lawful resident, or that maybe you were part of some conspiracy to bring immigrants into this bakery and, you know, hire, you know, something of that.
I think that's what happened. I think they thought maybe I was harboring somebody.
Right.
Which is weird, because if that's the case, why would they go in through my stuff? Why would they go through my things, through my cajones, through all these things? And it makes me think, and someone once told me, she's like, well, maybe they were trying to pin you with something. What if they found something on you, and maybe they could use that to say, hey, we're going to bring you in because we found this.
You know, when,
is that true?
Yes, it's very possible. And, you know, like when you come into the airport, as an immigrant, when you come into the airport, they can look in your bags. They can look in anyone's bag. But, you know, like, for example, if I know lots of people who come, I'll give you a perfect analogy, lots of people who come on visitors visas or student visas, and they have emails on their phone. Maybe they have somebody offered them a job and say, hey, when you come back, you know, I got this job on a weekend, you know, waiting tables or something. They look at the phone, they're looking at your phone, they're looking at this email, and they say, aha, you're working. So they're looking for that diary note or a piece of paper that may lead them to something else. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Or, you know, now it's all about social media, looking at your social media when you come into the airport.
Absolutely.
Right. So now, did that make you, how did that end, by the way? You know, they left, they ransacked your home.
After they left my home, I was in shock. Right. And I still needed to get to class. And it's so ironic. I was taking a class about immigration. So here I am walking up to the classroom, and I'm supposed to be presenting supposed to be doing a presentation. So instead of doing my presentation, I told my class what had just happened to me. Right. Nobody could believe it. They could not believe it. And I started raising awareness about it at school. I got to talk to some officials as well. We ended up doing a press conference in front of the Geisel Library, discussing what happened and how inappropriate that was. And oh man, I mean, don't quote me on this, but what I found out after the whole mess was over, that ICE actually apologized, or they reached out to the chancellor and said, hey, look, we're really sorry about this. We didn't know that this was a school campus.
They violate people's rights all the time. And you know, I'm glad that at least you bring this story out. They should have apologized to you. It's not the school. Your privacy was the one that was violated, not the schools. Your rights were the ones that were trampled on, not the schools. Yeah. But you yourself never got an apology. What did they say when they left your home, left your dorm room? Nothing. They just walked out?
No, nothing. They just walked out. They said, I don't remember exactly what they said, but it wasn't hostile. They weren't hostile. I think I saw their faces. You can tell they were like, oh no, like, damn, this might not be good, you know? So they left. I mean, I just want to make it very clear before I say anything else that I understand how complex immigration is. I get it. I see the need of having reform. I just want to make it very clear that I am in full support of a very I'm in full support of immigration reform.
We are too.
However,
the right reform.
In which that's right.
The right reform.
The way in which we do it, the way in which we treat people that are being deported, apprehended, etc., the way we treat people while they're already here, and just the complexity.
Yes. So do you consider yourself an activist? I mean, you're on YouTube. I know a lot of your YouTube has to deal with being a father and how you're raising your children. How much activism, social activism, do you put into your YouTube account, or do you think about on a regular basis with your children?
I am constantly expanding my family's horizons. Does that make sense? Educating them about immigration, educating them about being good people, educating them about treating people better, and the way that some people are being perceived in our country. And I teach them that because it's a bigger conversation. You know, immigration is one of many pieces to the puzzle right now. And I think what I'm trying to teach my kids through my activism is for them to know that they can speak up for themselves as well. I have 3 women in my house: my mom, my wife, my daughter, and my 2 daughters, and I have my son. So the way I'm talking to you is exactly the way that I talk to my kids, and is exactly the way that I talk to my audience.
And how do you incorporate your Mexican heritage into all of this conversation? How important is it in this entire conversation?
I think my Mexican heritage is very important. However, it's more about honoring my roots, about where we come from, and accepting that we have moved to a country, or we were pushed and pulled to a different country because of extenuating circumstances, and because of those extenuating circumstances, it is absolutely important to remember and honor where our family comes from. It doesn't mean we're betraying the new country that we live in. It's just a reminder in a way to teach my kids compassion of other people's cultures, of other ways of living. Because once you're here in this country, and especially because my kids were born here, how do I teach them about what I've been through? How do I teach them empathy? How do I teach them what I've gone through and what other people in our family has been through? Well, teaching them a little bit of our heritage, you know, not just Dia de los Muertos, but like little things like that. Not necessarily, oh, you have to speak Spanish. You know how many people cross the border over here and then they forget how to speak Spanish? It doesn't make them any less Mexican. It doesn't make them any less anything. Especially, it's more about just understanding the complexity of your culture and paying honor and paying homage to it.
Yeah, knowing where you came from, and this is where you are today. I think that's a nice way to put it, I would assume, correct?
It's not just about where you're from, it's about where you're going.
Correct. Now let's talk about where you're going. Okay, you have had certainly a lifetime experience so far. Your immigration situation, becoming well known, instantaneously through the video that you put up on YouTube, being on Ellen DeGeneres, America's Got Talent. Do you feel, living the immigrant story, finding out you were out of status, now becoming legal, and now getting this fame and having over 1 million people following you on all of your different platforms? Do you feel you've reached the American dream? Do you feel you still need more to achieve to reach the American dream? What is your American dream?
My American dream is making sure that my kids know they can succeed in life. They can buy a house. They can become CEOs. They can be leaders in our community, whether they're going to lead a migrant community, whether they're going to lead a digital company, whatever they do. My American dream is to educate and teach my family that they can do whatever the hell they want in this country, as long as it's good for other people, as long as it's not trampling on other people's rights or other people's cultures or other people's beliefs.
Jorge, I really appreciate it. Awesome. It was a great story. Yeah, I mean, you've lived an entire life. I don't know how old you are. You look like a young guy. You've lived an entire life already.
Well, I was a teen dad. I had already 16, man. I mean, because of what happened with my dad, and domestic violence, and my mom, and all these things that I've been through when I was a kid, it made it easier for me to share my story and to remember that's what I'm doing here now. You know, I'm not the richest person in the world. I may have all these millions of it's over 800,000 followers, but it's more about purpose now. It's more about like sending a message, and yes, educating the masses about what I've been through. You know, I always focus on saying I, because it's so easy to say, well, this is how this thing goes, and this is how this, because we can be wrong, you know, but I can hold myself accountable on my story. Like what happened to my mom, what happened to me with immigration, it really did happen, you know, and my mom really needed to leave to cross the border. My mom needed to have me over here. I mean, come on, think about it. How many people really want to leave the country? How many people want to leave in general, unless they're pushed or they're pulled by some sort of circumstance? Nobody wants to leave. That's just
people leave because of fear, wars, or they're being persecuted, or people leave because they can't feed themselves. and they have to go somewhere else to make a living. That's why generally.
Same
That's why.
circumstances.
That's why generally most people leave. And your life, I mean, with all the hardships that you've overcome and the obstacles that were put in your place, your life could have gone 100 directions. What a wonderful story that you're such a successful man today and have such a huge following and certainly talented and well spoken. And congratulations to you. It's a great story.
Well, congratulations to you too, Brad. I think the purpose here is that we are both people that we're in a position of power to raise awareness about something very important. You are a lawyer. You are here to represent people that deserve to be heard. That's what it is. I am a social media influencer, and I'm here to hopefully raise the awareness to people who are struggling with their voice. That's what it's about, right? That's what my sacred purpose is. I mean, I don't know about you.
My purpose is I want to help as many people as I can. If I can make everybody's life a little better, a lot better, somewhere in the middle. If I can get somebody from this level to this level, each and every person, as many as I can, that's my goal in life. Thanks for coming on.
It's about the community. That's what it is. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it. Thanks. All right, Jorge Narvaez.
Nice.
What'd you guys think?
That was a really nice interview. I liked it. It's very inspiring.
Yeah.
I think it's crazy how he went from some viral video of him covering a song to like true activism on his platforms.
Yeah, it's very cool. I enjoyed my.
inspiring.
Whoa, what was that?
What was that?
We have like a band or
Sounded
something
crazy.
in the
Is it the
background?
aliens?
No, it sounded like somebody was like putting up their like amp or
sound
something.
check.
Like sound check or something. Yeah.
For
Check
Bradshaw
one,
Live
check
After
two.
Dark, we're hosting
Bradshaw,
live
yes,
music
live
today.
music for Bradshaw After Dark. But no, I thought he was a really cool guy. I enjoyed my conversation with him. We could have actually gone on further.
Yes.
And we even cut it down a little bit. And I
Right.
even remember Jorge's like, "Oh wow, that went by really fast." That did.
It
Nice.
did. It
Right.
did.
And I think I'm going to be on his show soon as well. Is that correct?
You are indeed. Brad Squad, go check out Brad on Reality Changers Spotlight on Thursday at noon, this coming Thursday. It's noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. And so you'll be able to see Brad. They're going to be talking for a whole hour. Brad will also answer immigration questions, and we're going to hear about
nice.
Brad's fatherhood situation, what he feels on being a dad and such. It's going to be a new side of Brad, fam, so check it out. Reality Changers Spotlight.
Dope.
Boom.
Which side?
Which side what?
This side or that side of Brad? What side are we going to get?
I'd say, you know what? We see both of those sides. I think it's the back that we never see. Brad's backside.
My backside is very personal, okay? All right, so Mike's been on hold from Brooklyn for 25 minutes. Mike, how are you?
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm calling on an immigration question, with my friend, and we find it very confusing, right?
What?
She went on the interview, she passed everything, she came back home, they sent her a letter and tell her that her case was being denied.
So then she didn't pass everything. What happened?
No, they told her case is being denied on some bad moral character whatsoever.
Okay.
But she was being arrested because she had hit a girl with a bottle in the club, and the case was dropped. It was dismissed from a file or whatsoever.
Right.
And they denied for bad moral character.
Mm-hmm.
And she's coming to you. She's coming to you on Friday, but she had called one lawyer, and one lawyer said to her that the fight happened after the 3 years of getting her green card, so they shouldn't use that against her. So I want to know, is that true?
Well, they could use anything against her. I mean, this is the bottom line. When you go to adjust your status, besides having to prove, when you say she passed, what you're saying is I now understand what you're saying. She passed her marriage interview. They believe it's a real marriage. They approved the I-130 visa petition. Now, when you go to adjust your status, there's a lot of things you got to worry about. Two of them, when it comes to arrests, are: have you been convicted of a crime that makes you inadmissible? She has not been. She has not been convicted of any crime that makes her inadmissible. The second thing that you have to worry about is good moral character. Do you have good moral character? That's what the law says to get a green card. Good moral character is very nebulous, means that it's very discretionary up to the particular person. So now she got into a fight in a club, in a bar. Was that the only time she ever got arrested in her lifetime?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah, that's the only time she's
so
been arrested.
I would even argue something even more than what that lawyer said. The lawyer said it happened more than 3 years ago. There's no specific statute of limitations where if it happened 3 years and 1 day ago, you're okay. If it happened 2 years and 5 days ago, you're not okay. There's no 3-year thing. So I'm not sure where he came up with that 3-year thing. What you have to say is you were...
because the reason why I said that, because the way he explained to her, he said that you have 3 years of getting the green card if you're married to a U.S. citizen. So anything happen after the 3 years of you getting the green card, you're not supposed to use it against you unless it's something serious.
He just made up a law. What the law says is you have to be a person of general good moral character. So they could look at your moral character. Now they can't go back and say, well, 15 years ago or 20 years ago you did this because what the law says is you have to be a person of good moral character today. Now you can go back in the past. You can go back in the past and you can say, does something you did in the past impact your good moral character today? And I would argue, whether it happened a week ago, a month ago, or 10 years ago, that everybody's entitled to a bad day or a bad night. Okay? You don't have to be a Mother Teresa every day of your life. So she got into a fight. Guess what? Everybody gets into a fight. I've gotten into fights. Now, I didn't knock anybody over the head with a beer bottle, but I've gotten into fights with people too. It doesn't make me a bad person. It happens. Okay? So I would argue, let me just finish. I would argue that one bad day doesn't make you a bad person. That's the argument. And then whether it happened a day ago or a week ago or 20 years ago, and then what you do is you bring in affidavits, you bring in evidence to say, look what a good person I am. Here's all the people say I'm a wonderful person.
And another thing is, that's why it's always good to listen to you and you always give good advice. She did her stuff on her own, right?
Right.
And when she went to the interview, and I think that's another reason why she get denied, and she didn't tell me. She go in the interview. When she go, they told her to bring her disposition letter for them, right?
Right.
And what she brought for them, she brought the paper from the precinct.
Oh, she brought the police from the right. So that it was starting to go downhill from there.
Right.
So I would say, Mike, I would say this: if she had one arrest for a fight in a club, and she otherwise has a clean record, and she otherwise has no other reason to deny her, and she's already been approved for the I-130, I assure you, we'll get her a green card.
No, she's going for her citizenship.
Oh, her citizenship. Oh, okay. So even citizenship, then the lawyer did not make up a law. Okay, the law says that if it happened more than 3 years ago, based on a bona fide marriage, citizenship, they shouldn't include it. Okay, and then I would even argue that even if it happened within the 3 years, the same argument. You're still entitled. You're still entitled to have a bad day. Doesn't make you a bad person. So I think that was then it was a bad decision. The lawyer did not make up a law. That law is correct, and I thought it was an adjustment you were talking about.
Okay, but what can she do now? Because she brought in the wrong paper. She didn't bring the disposition letter from the court. She have it now, but it's too late now.
Yeah, so we're going to refile again and make her a citizen. That's what we're going to do. Do it right.
That's what I was telling you. She's coming to you on Friday.
Okay, hold on. Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right. 1-800-529-5465. Let's go to Carlene in Queens, New York. Carlene.
Yes. Good evening. How are you?
Good.
I'm fine. I have a question.
Yeah.
I entered the United States in 2012 as a conditional resident. So in 2014, I adjusted my status where I got my 10-year. In 2016, I got arrested. I was charged on a felony.
Okay.
And it was reduced to a disorderly conduct.
Okay, good.
My question is, how long do I have to wait before I can file for citizenship?
Well, you can file now. You're still with your spouse?
No.
Okay, so when did you get your original conditional green card?
2014, I got the 10-year.
No, when did you get the 2-year?
2012.
Okay, so you've been a resident for more than 5 years already. Now, your issue becomes, just like this last caller, you have an arrest that ended up in a disorderly conduct. A disorderly conduct is not a crime, okay, but it was in a serious arrest. So obviously, that impacts on your moral character. You're not with your spouse anymore, so you have to show 5 years good moral character, and this arrest happened within the 5 years. We would need to look at more about what happened. Were you arrested for something that was an ongoing situation, or was it more of a, I just did this stupid thing on one day? And then we would have to show, hopefully it's I did a stupid thing on one day rather than this was an ongoing situation. And then we would have to show that you look at all these positive equities that show that you are a person of good moral character. You have to count, if there's something bad on this hand, you got to counterweigh it with something else. You got to be able to show, this person that got arrested on this day, that's not the person in front of you. This is the person in front of you. So you have to show your person of good moral character. I always argue that it's worth trying one arrest in the 5-year period or 3-year period. It's absolutely worth trying as long as you can demonstrate you're a person of good moral character. Nothing bad's going to happen to you. The worst thing they'll do is deny you. Disorderly conduct's not a deportable offense.
Okay.
All right, so hold on. Let's sit down and see if it's worthwhile trying. Hold on. All right, let's go to Nicole in Vancouver, Washington. Nicole.
Hi, how are you?
How are you?
I'm doing well.
You're good, doing well. Good, doing well. All right, what's up?
So I just had 2 questions.
Yeah.
So for the first one, I just got married in February to my husband, who's Jamaican. So I was just curious because he's having somebody else sign as his affidavit, and I know that they have to submit their income and their tax forms.
Right.
So even though I'm not signing as his affidavit, do I still have to submit my income and tax forms as well as that person?
Well, if you are filing for your husband, you do have to submit an affidavit of support. You do have to sign it. If you don't, you do have to submit your tax returns, and if you don't earn enough money, that's when the second affidavit of support comes in. They also have to sign it and submit their tax returns. So you're going to sign one, submit your tax returns and job letter. It's going to obviously demonstrate you don't earn enough money, and then you're going to submit a second one signed by the person who's giving this affidavit of support who lives outside of your household with their tax returns and job letter, and that should hopefully be enough to show that you're 125% above the poverty level, and then he'll get his green card.
Okay, perfect. So then for my second question, so my address, we're currently living at a temporary address. So it's just my name on it right now, but that's going to be, it's going to change within the next couple of months, but not, it's not going to be changed before we file.
Okay.
So I currently have my address as my parents to receive mail and everything like that, and then he has a different address in Oregon. So I was wondering if it'd be worthwhile to change his address to my parents' address.
No,
so
change the address to where he lives with you right now, even if his name's not on the lease. And then when you move again, you'll notify immigration that you've moved.
Okay. So, it's kind of, we're in a weird spot because we're basically, you can't really receive mail here. Is that makes sense?
I understand, but I think on the applications, it should give you a address and a mailing address, a choice of.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so double check that, but I believe the last time I checked, that's what it is. Although I don't do the forms anymore, so I'm a little spotty on my form work. But I believe they give you both an address and a mailing address as well.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, 1-800-529-5465. Shireen in Orlando, Florida, home of Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck and Goofy. How are you, Shireen?
I'm good, and you?
Good. What's going on?
I'm calling to find out about something, right? My spouse is a green card holder.
Yes.
He petitioned for his minor child out of the country. The child got a visa, and the child came to visit, but due to circumstances, he didn't send back the child. So I'm calling to find out what can be done. What can he do? But the child is out of status.
How old is the child now?
She's 12.
And when did he file for her?
It was December 2015.
All right, so then the child's eligible for a green card. We got to process at the National Visa Center, go back home, get a green card, and come back. A child can't be held responsible for overstaying on a visa and can't be held responsible for any misrepresentation.
Oh, but his concern is that can the child be denied?
Not legally, they can't.
Because
not legally, no.
Oh, okay.
How long is he? Well, when did he get his green card?
Well, he was on a conditional green card, and he got his permanent green card, the 10 years, since last month.
And this is marriage to somebody else, not to you?
Yeah.
Okay. So when did he get his conditional? What month and year, did you tell me?
It was what? In 2014 or 2015, I think.
I don't know. You tell me.
2000.
I mean,
I think it's 2015. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the other choice is wait until he becomes a citizen. But if it's 2015, he won't become a citizen until 2020.
Until 2020. Yeah.
But it sounds like if he just removed the conditions, I would bet it's before 2015 because they take a year and a half to remove conditions. So I would say it was more close.
No, it was 2015.
Really?
2015.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think what he should do is have a consultation with us so we can go through all the options, the pros and cons. But certainly sending the child home shouldn't be a problem. But he's got to be comfortable. Okay?
Okay. All right. Thank
so
you.
Hold on one second. All right? 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-529-5465. Kimmy, Kim. Jonathan, I'm sorry to bother you. I know you are making your plans to celebrate your birthday. Jonathan's like, listen, I got 20 more minutes left to work, and then get the beer tapped up.
I'm going.
And I'm
going to
here.
Negril.
And what?
Negril.
What grill?
Negril.
What
I guess
grill?
it's a Jamaican restaurant.
Negril,
you
the
guys
Jamaican.
know about Negril?
I know Negril is in town.
Yeah,
in
but
Jamaica.
like it's
where's Negril, the
like
Jamaican
off
restaurant?
of 3rd Ave.
Off of 3rd Avenue.
Yeah.
Is it authentic Jamaican or they just call it Negril?
I think so. What do you guys know about Negril, the restaurant?
All right, well, that's where you will be there celebrating.
Yeah.
All right, well, you let us know.
I'm going to let
if it's
y'all know.
authentic or not.
Yes.
All right, so we're going to come back to you in a minute.
Okay.
Okay, so what I wanted to tell everybody out there is we're going to come to our social media check-in in about 3 or 4 minutes from now. Leave all of your immigration questions on social media. We're not going to be taking any more calls. So our lines are no longer open.
Oh.
Okay. Lines are no longer. Lines are. There we go.
Ooh.
But what is open? What is open is Facebook.
Us.
And you're going to leave your
always
questions
open.
on Facebook. Jonathan and Kimmy Kim are going to talk to you on Facebook for the next few minutes. Leave your questions while we catch up with Anna Ascona. She's interviewed Nikki 305. I'm not sure who Nikki 305 is.
He or she sounds incredibly legit.
Well, because their last name is 305.
Right. If you have numbers in your name, I feel like that's cool.
305.
Yeah. Nikki 305.
All right.
Or
That's
300.
Miami. That's Miami, right?
Right,
Yeah, that's the Miami area code.
Yeah.
So it's like
boys.
Kimmy. It's like Kimmy 212. That's a new name for you. We're here with Kimmy 212.
212.
That actually sounds kind of dope.
Sounds very legit,
like,
right?
That sounds
like a
dope.
DJ name.
So,
Kimmy 212 in the house.
So we're gonna find out about Nikki 305 and her career and her family's immigration story from the Dominican Republic while we catch up with Anna Ascona, our Miami correspondent. Then we're going to come back straight to Kimmy 212 and birthday boy Yo-Yo. We won't say Yo-Yo. Jonathan.
You say it with such apprehension
I don't
every
like
time.
Yo-Yo. Yeah, with Jonathan. And they're going to be asking your immigration questions. Let's catch up with Anna first.
Hey friends from the Brad Show Live, I'm here with Nikki 305. Hey. She's a previous radio host and she's also an entrepreneur.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us, Nikki.
Thank you for having me.
Can you talk to me a little bit about your radio days?
Radio, 5 years of fun, 5 years of experiences, 5 years of meeting a lot of great people, like you.
Like me.
I got to meet you. It was really a dope experience in the sense of I got to bring my Dominicanness to the radio because I was always me. I was never like
anybody else,
like super gringa or super Spanish. I was Dominican representing for my people, so I thought it was really awesome to be able to have that experience.
Can you tell us what made you get into radio?
By mistake. Actually.
By mistake?
Yeah, I wanted to do TV. I actually did an internship at Deco Drive, Channel 7, which was like huge. It's entertainment, kind of like a gossip show, entertainment. And I said, I want to do TV. There's nothing else I would want to do. And then I had to do another internship. And I was like, okay, at that point I became Marie, Mafio's wife. And I was like, listen, I have to do another internship. I'll just do radio just to see if I like it. Dude, I stepped in that booth and I was like, okay, forget TV, I gotta do radio. Because radio, it's like you have the people there, they call, you interact, you can get online. You know, TV, it's like you say what you say, but you don't get any feedback. But radio, you get to interact with people, and I think that's one of the things that I really loved about it.
And you have your own business.
Yes!
So can you talk to us a little bit about what business are you running right now?
So I accidentally... Everything's an accident with everything that I get into. I actually got let go from my radio job 3 months before I got married, which sucked because, you know, you're planning the most wonderful time of your life, and then you have this happen, which is something that I had worked so hard to get into. I just told myself, I said, you know what, as much as I love radio, as much as it's my passion, I refuse to be in the, well, am I gonna get let go today? Am I gonna get let go tomorrow? Am I gonna have a problem with somebody? Like, I didn't want to do that anymore. So I said, it's time to be my own boss, pull some Cardi B money moves, and I randomly ran into the photo booth business. I saw a photo booth I really loved, that I believed in, and that was different, like me. And I got into it, and thank God we started with 1, and now we have 3.
The reason why we're here is because we want to hear your immigration background.
Right.
You know, you're Dominican.
Yes.
Can you tell us what was the process of your family migrating to the United States? Because I know you're also first generation American.
First generation American, yeah. My mom is actually like this. My mom is just, she's a beast, bro. She's a super inspiration. Like, my mom came here, she went through a divorce, and she told herself that she had to do better for her and my brother, and literally came here 26 years old on a 2-week visa and $100 in her purse. And she said, I'm determined to make it. I don't care how, but I'm going to. And she came to not Miami, she came to actually West Palm Beach, a little bit more north, where my uncle was already here.
Yeah.
And she came and she said, I'm determined to make it. That was in 1984, and by 1987, she had her own salon, had my brother here, and had her citizenship.
But she came here on a visa? Or
she came on a visa, 2-week visa. 2 weeks.
She let it expire.
She let it expire, but she said she knew what she had to do. And she came and she ran with it. And now her business is about to be 31 next month. She's never had any business associates, no partners, no nothing. Like, my mom has built her empire on her own. And for real, my mom is the American dream, like, to be honest. Yeah.
So I assume you feel like you're living the American dream.
Oh, heck yeah. Shout out to my mom for that.
Shout out to Nikki's mom.
Yeah, shout out to her.
Having her make all these accidents.
Yeah, all these accidents happen.
Success.
Everything's just been an accident. I don't know. It's God's plan. Like, I don't question God's plans. When things happen to me,
Drake, no.
Yeah, God's plan, man. God's plan. I don't question it. Like, when I got let go from radio, I was really sad. But not once did I say, God, why? And this is why. Because I was supposed to be here with my own business, doing my own thing.
Amen. What are some challenges you faced as first generation American?
That I didn't speak English till I was 6. Like, that was one of the things that was tough, because by the time I got to school, like, I didn't understand anybody. I didn't understand my dad. My dad's like Black American, and I didn't understand him. He had to watch novelas to learn how to speak Spanish with me.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. So if it wasn't for the soap operas, I wouldn't understand my dad.
So what's your advice to those that are watching that live in another country and are trying to come here in search of the American dream, or the ones that are already here trying to, you know, make a better life?
Just do it. I'm blessed to be in this country. So to be honest, I'm proud to be a Dominican American all day. So hustle. Don't worry about the struggle, because at the end of the tunnel, there's always a light. That's what I tell people all the time.
All right, and before we leave, why? Why?
Because I love Despicable Me.
Well, thank you so much, Nikki, for joining us today. Can you please give a shout out to the Brad Show Live?
Shout out to the Brad Show Live. Thank you for having me. Don't forget to follow your dreams.
All right.
Wow.
So
Beautiful.
the only thing I heard in the whole thing was that she likes to interact with her radio guests.
Yes.
It was very.
I loved her wedding picture.
Right. By the way, President Trump proclaims April Sexual Assault Awareness Month.
I loved her. I loved her necklace.
You love the necklace,
I thought it was a beautiful necklace. I think we should see far more of Nikki 305.
It's hot.
Yeah.
Hot in the studio.
Look.
No wonder they were in tank
I was
tops.
like this.
Yeah, I was like, Tony Yannick. I goes to tell you about the grill. He goes, huh? What? Huh?
You know what, Brad? I'm watching.
Yeah, right. My show's on.
All right. So I'm glad we kept that towards the end of the show.
Yeah.
That's the teaser of Brad's Show Live After Dark.
Yes.
This is gonna be a thing, you guys.
Oh, Jonathan's birthday present. What is it?
What's my birthday present?
I don't know.
What is it?
I have a birthday present?
You have
Is
a
it
birthday
coming?
present?
You have a birthday present?
No one is in the know.
Sam is bringing a birthday present for you?
Oh no!
I heard Sam is bringing.
Are you serious?
Sam's gonna bring in a birthday
Where
present
is
for
he?
Jonathan.
You get a groundhog birthday present?
No. Sam is passed out, I'm told.
Man.
Yep,
I
Sam
really got
is
excited.
passed out.
I was like, where's it
Sam
at?
is
Where's
passed
it at?
out.
He ate the whole cake.
Sam is passed out.
No birthday present,
Yeah,
guys.
Jill is like, wow, Sam's gonna bring him a birthday present now.
Sam is asleep.
That's what she said. Sam's asleep. No birthday present.
He's still sleeping off the sugar coma he's in.
All right, let's finish up with immigration questions. What do we got?
All right, I got Millicent Dobson. All right, so how long does it take for a child to file for parents?
About a year and change if they're in another country, a little under a year if they're here in America and you're doing an adjustment.
Anne wants to know, if a green card holder stays out of the country for 5 years and she is now 17, could she be refiled for?
If she's 17, she should come back right now. She shouldn't have to be refiled for because she's still a minor. She should try to go to the U.S. Embassy and get an SB1 visa, but as a minor, she should be able to come back without a problem. Once she turns 18, it's a problem. And now I'll stop talking.
So now back to me.
Exactly.
Producing from the studio.
They're probably back there like, oh.
Like, Brad's doing it to me again.
We got this, Brad. We got this.
All right, Mohammed El Wazan. This is another follow-up from Egypt.
Is that them? They're coming for you, or me, or Kim?
It ain't me.
It's not me.
Oh, I
Kim?
hope not. I don't know
Kim?
exactly what I did this weekend.
I don't know what it is, but
If anybody hears, there's sirens in the background.
If it's for anybody, it'll probably be for me because I don't really remember too much about this weekend. So, Mohammed El Wazan, he has another follow-up question. So he said, I'm really sorry, guys, but don't ever feel sorry. Ask whatever you need to.
Yeah, ask away.
So he said, last question is it late that I didn't receive the approval till now? Because I've seen that Mr. Brad is a bit surprised that till now I didn't have my approval because I think he said it was like, what, 2 years or something like
about
that?
6 since 2011.
Oh, it was.
I went 30 for a brother, sister. Don't be overly concerned as long as you check in the system, it still says it's pending because the priority dates are 2004, so they haven't probably even looked at it yet.
So he said, because last time when I asked, he mentioned that the brother and sister's visa was on 2005, but when I checked the USCIS, it shows on my on May 2009. So is that correct?
The priority date's 2005, 2009 for cases that they're approving.
All right. Don't feel sorry.
Never feel sorry. Ask all the questions you want to ask. So Nick has a crazy question. Nick's an American citizen. His fiance is African. They've been dating for 6 months. He's gone to see her twice, but unfortunately she has a kid with a married U.S. citizen, and that U.S. citizen has filed for her child. What she's really wondering is that if the child is still with the mom, so Nick's fiance, and he starts to apply, and he applies for her, is there going to be an issue given that the child has a green card through someone else?
No, as long as you can prove it's a bona fide marriage. I mean, if you just gave birth a week ago, for example, and Nick, who's the new husband's filing for you, saying he's had a relationship with you for 2 years. Well, how did he have a relationship with you for 2 years if you just had a baby last week with another man? On the other hand, if like the baby was 8 years old, I don't know, making it up, okay, and you had a relationship with one man and that relationship is over, and that man happens to be a U.S. citizen and he's filing for your kid, wonderful. And now you're in a new relationship with a new man who's a U.S. citizen who married you and it's a bona fide marriage and they're filing for you, wonderful. As long as it makes sense.
All right, so this question is a little off, so I'm going to try and word it to make sense. So if it makes sense, let us know. If it doesn't, my bad.
Are you saying it verbatim, or are you going to try to massage it?
I'm going to try and massage it.
Okay.
You know, put my fingers in it. All right.
All
right. Yeah.
You're going all in.
Yeah,
Right.
All right. Nezzy once more asked. Said good evening, Brad. My question is that I live in a different state from my daughter. She lives with her mom, but I want my wife to file for her. She lives in the next state. Can I do it without her living with us?
Yes, but eventually she would have to come live with you. You're filing for your child so you can be united with the child. But eventually, yes. But she doesn't have to be living with you at the moment.
But she has to eventually come back.
I mean, that's the purpose of it.
Okay.
Nick has a follow-up question. He says, could he file a K-1 visa for his fiance? Because he really wants to get married here because all his parents are here.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
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 Yeah, you can do a fiance visa.
All right. Jay Carter wants to know, what's the difference between a legal alien and an undocumented individual?
I just had that question with Baba John.
Yes.
Remember?
That's right.
Yes.
Yes.
No, but Baba John, because I even used the wrong words. There is no such thing. There is such a thing as being a lawful permanent resident. This is where the etymology comes from. So years ago, in the law, it says you are a lawful permanent resident of the United States when you have a green card. So now, when they use the word lawful permanent resident, they, I guess, somehow use the word over the course of time to say if you don't have a green card and you are undocumented, you are illegal. But there is no such word as illegal in the Immigration and Nationality Act. There's only a word that says lawful permanent resident. So, and when you use the word illegal, it sounds like you're committing a crime, that you're a criminal in some way. But being undocumented doesn't make you a criminal. It's not even a criminal act to be undocumented. So when people say these illegals or illegals are breaking the law, they violated a civil law that has made them undocumented. They have not committed a criminal act. They are not criminals. They have never been said to be criminals in any Immigration Nationality Act or regulation. It's only criminal. It's only criminal when you get deported and re-enter without prior permission. Now that is a criminal act. But short of that, there is a lawful permanent resident, which is a green card holder. There is somebody here who is undocumented, who is something out of status, somebody who has violated their visa, has worked without permission, has crossed the border, has come here legally and overstayed their visa. All same thing, undocumented person. Okay, but they didn't do anything illegal, but people call them illegal.
Morella wants to know, how much is it to get a green card, and about how long is the process if the person is in the United States?
It's about $81 million right now to get a green card.
Cool $81 million.
Cool $81 million. We want it all in non-denominational bills. If you run out of cash, you can make the check payable to Brad Bernstein. No, I don't know how much it is. Well, give me more information.
No,
is
I
she
think she
asking
means
how
like
much is
fees.
the
No,
legal fee,
I
the
think-
filing fee? What? And I don't know who she's sponsoring this. There's 100 different filing fees depending on what you're doing. So we need a little more specificity.
Details, guys.
Yes.
Details.
Details. The devil is in the details. Remember that.
The devil is in the detail. What does that mean?
I've never
I don't
understood
know.
See, I'm African, so I don't be understanding these American sayings.
I don't know what that means whatsoever.
The devil is in the details.
To
I
me,
wouldn't
that
want the
makes it
details
sound like
then.
you shouldn't be detailed.
Right.
Yes,
I don't want the
I
details.
don't know.
Right,
I don't
like if
want
that's where the
Lucifer.
devil is,
We
keep
should-
those details to yourself.
Over there.
No, you may very well be right.
Right, like, no, I don't want those.
You may very well be right.
The devil is
I don't
not
like
in the
I don't like that.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't like it.
We don't like it. If the devil's in the details, I don't
We
want
don't
to know
want
the
it.
details.
Like cleanliness is next to godliness.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I want to
I
be
want
next to
godliness. I want to be
godliness.
close to
Right.
him.
You're right.
Not the devil.
The devil
No.
is not in the details, guys.
So
The devil's not anywhere part of this shit.
Yeah, right.
Now that I think about it.
At all.
There's no devil here. None.
All right.
And the
At
details
all.
are up.
None.
I have one from Denisha John. Can a permanent resident who was filed for by their mother file for their spouse in another country? And if so, what's the waiting time?
You cannot file as a permanent resident. You can only file as a U.S. citizen for your parents. Is that the question?
No.
No.
A permanent resident who was filed for by their mother.
Wants to file for their spouse.
Wants to file for their
You want to
spouse
file
in another country.
Fine. File an I-130 visa petition. Make sure you're married. Make sure the marriage happened after you got your green card, not before, because if it happened before you got your green card, you got a big problem. After you got your green card, you marry the person, you file for them, file an I-130 visa petition. That's all that has to go in with supporting documents showing you're married and your proof you're a green card holder. And they'll approve it in about a year and be on a waiting list for about 18 months, and he'll get his green card.
Gertrude says, I'm about to put in my naturalization. Do I need a lawyer for that?
You're asking a lawyer if you need a lawyer. You, Gertrude. Okay, you're asking me.
A lawyer?
A lawyer. Should I hire a lawyer?
You
It's
want
like
me to
asking a
answer?
mechanic, do you need a mechanic to fix your car?
You want me to answer?
It's like asking a doctor, do you need a doctor to come in to do surgery?
Well,
the answer is yes. But, it depends on your situation, whether or not. Honestly, it depends on your situation. I mean, everyone should have a lawyer because you never know when immigration can violate your rights, and this is a very important thing for you to become a citizen. Now, some people will say, you know what, I got a very clean case. I'm going to take the chance that my rights won't be violated. I know what I'm doing, and I'm going to get it. But that doesn't necessarily mean that's going to happen. I know lots of people with clean cases who don't get it because they screw up or their rights are violated. Always safe to have a lawyer. And with that, ladies and gentlemen.
I have one more question.
You have one
just
more question.
One last.
All right.
One last?
Squeeze it
I'm going to squeeze it in real quick.
Squeeze it in.
Do it.
Ann White wants to know, what is the age limit you can no longer file for your child?
When you're dead.
There you go.
Was Anne asking if her
Maybe
age
her. Let's say the child's
age
limit.
The child's age limit for what?
Where you can't file for them anymore.
You can always file for your children, whether your child's 10 years old or 50 years old, as long as you are alive. Now, the child's waiting time is going to be different depending on whether the child's over 21, under 21, whether you're basing it on a marriage, when the marriage occurred, whether they themselves are married, whether you're a citizen, whether you're a resident. That changes the entire equation. But if you are asking, is there an age limit when I can no longer file for my kid? No, you can always file for your kid. I can tell you once your kid turns 21, you're waiting a lot longer.
All right.
Maybe that's the answer.
I
And with
think that was the
that, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
And we will see you all tomorrow. Stay safe, guys. Thanks for watching.
Peace.
So, Sam, as part of the production, we have to say this disclaimer at the end of the show. Do you mind reading it for me?
Okay, but Brad, I have to do everything around here. It's bad enough I've got to remember everything that happened on the episode from the previous day.
Forget it. I'll do it. The proceeding was information only and not specific legal advice. Consult an attorney about your individual situation. Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. To make an appointment with the Spar and Bernstein law firm located at 225 Broadway in New York City, call 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. Easy to remember, 1-800-LAW-LINK. That's 1-800-LAWLINK. Once again, make a call to 1-800-529-5465. And of course, link up with the law offices of Spar and Bernstein, located at 225 Broadway on the 5th floor. If I were you out there, make the call, make the link, make the connection, make it Spar and Bernstein. 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-529-5465. And now, conveniently located in Hartford, Connecticut on 1 Congress Street. Visit us in Connecticut or in New York at 225 Broadway. That's 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-LAW-LINK. 1-800-529-5465. Ay, ay, ay.